Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something I think pretty much everyone struggles with sometimes: overthinking. You know that feeling,
Mhm.
right? You have this
Mhm.
great idea or a decision to make, maybe learn something new, and bam, suddenly it's like a storm of what ifs just
Mhm.
takes over.
Yeah, what if it doesn't work out? What if I look stupid?
Exactly. And you're just stuck analyzing, doubting, putting it off. That initial spark, it just kind of fizzles out. It's this sneaky trap. Our sources describe it as, not just thinking a lot, but thinking too much in a way that's really not helpful at all.
Right. It pulls you into this vortex of second guessing and just endless doubt.
Yeah.
And our research really highlights this. It's not just mental noise. Some of the neuroscientists we looked at actually point out it can wear down your prefrontal cortex.
Wow, really? The decision-making part.
Yeah, exactly. The bit you need for planning and making choices. So it makes taking action like physically harder. It's like that classic hamster wheel image, just thinking and thinking and thinking, but getting absolutely nowhere.
Feels busy, though.
Oh, totally.
Uh,
Feels super productive. Right.
yeah.
But that loop just keeps you stuck. Fear, confusion, hesitation. Think about someone wanting to start, say, a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
They get completely bogged down in what if nobody watches? Or will I look silly on camera? And, well, soon enough, that channel is still just an idea, never gets recorded.
And that is precisely why we're doing this deep dive today. Our mission here is really clear. We want to understand the kind of surprisingly deep reasons why we overthink,
Mm.
how it literally blocks us from moving forward, and most importantly, how you listening can actually shift gears, get out of thinking mode and into doing mode.
Yeah, taking action.
Whether it's launching that project, learning that skill, making that decision, this is for you. The big takeaway we want you to get today, and it came up again and again in our sources, is simply this: overthinking kills action.
It really does.
So we mentioned this internal hamster wheel and how it even drains our brain power for decisions. But why? Why do we do this? What makes our thoughts spiral like that and just paralyze us?
It's it's complicated, definitely. A mix of things. Our sources point to some really key root causes. First up is fear.
Hmm. Okay. Seems obvious, but
Right, but it's not just simple fear of failing. Often it connects to something called loss aversion.
mm,
Basically, the pain of potentially losing something or failing feels way stronger than the possible joy of succeeding.
okay. So we're wired to avoid the bad more than seek the good.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh.
Keeps us stuck analyzing every single tiny thing that could go wrong. Then there's perfectionism.
Oh yeah, the it has to be perfect trap.
Exactly. Waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan, which, let's be real, never actually shows up. Perfectionism is really just a fancy way to delay things, waiting for conditions that are just never going to be quite right.
That loss aversion idea, that's really interesting. It explains a lot about why we hesitate.
It does. And another big factor the sources dig into is our past experiences.
Right. Burned once, twice shy. Sort of, yeah. If you failed before, made mistakes, your brain naturally goes into protection mode. It tries to stop you from repeating that pain. But the irony is, in trying to protect you, it actually stops you moving forward at all.
Creates a mental block.
A self-imposed break.
Yeah.
And it can get stronger over time. And finally, you can't ignore social pressure, especially today.
Oh, definitely. Social media and all that.
Yeah. Everyone's putting their highlight reel out there. So that fear of judgment, what psychologists sometimes call evaluation apprehension, it gets amplified. We compare ourselves thinking, what if people laugh? Or I'm just not as good as them.
It's intense.
It is. But here's the really crucial point that came out of the research. Everyone feels uncertain sometimes. The people who actually get things done, they aren't the ones who magically never overthink. They're the ones who feel the fear, feel the doubt, and act anyway.
That's a powerful thought.
Okay.
So overthinking builds these walls. How does that actually play out day to day? How does it physically stop us from doing the things we want or need to do?
Mhm.
Well, it's not just background noise. It actively blocks you. Often it's subtle at first. You hesitate, you ruminate.
Hmm.
And the more you do that, the bigger the fear of failure seems to get.
Building it up in your own head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The longer you wait, the harder that first step feels.
Yeah.
Like you've built a mental wall around whatever it is you want it to do.
Yeah.
Think about applying for a job. This came up in the examples we looked at.
Okay.
You find one you really like, but you put it off. You worry about your resume. Maybe you think you don't have quite enough experience. You agonize over the cover email.
Been there.
Right. And before you know it, days, maybe a week has gone by. Deadlines passed. Opportunity missed. And it wasn't because you weren't capable. It was because you were stuck inside your head.
So it's basically a super direct route to procrastination, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Straight pipeline. Overthinking often ends with, I'll do it later, but later just drifts away. And the idea, the initial excitement, it just sort of fades into regret. It's actually quite sad when you think about it.
Yeah, it is. And given all that, it makes total sense why the sources kept hammering this one point. Execution beats perfection every single time. Taking one small, imperfect step is way, way better than having a theoretically perfect idea that just stays locked up in your brain. Because every little action you take, you learn something, right? You get feedback, you build actual confidence.
Couldn't agree more. Action builds momentum.
Okay, so we know why it happens, how bad it can be. But how do we even know when we're doing it? Before we can fix it, we gotta spot it. What are those telltale signs the research points to?
Yeah.
That internal overthinking alert.
Yeah. Awareness is definitely step one. If any of these ring a bell for you listening, chances are you're in that loop. So, first, indecision. Taking forever on simple choices like what to wear, what to eat. Classic sign.
Guilty.
Yeah. Then, replaying the past. Constantly going over old conversations, mistakes, beating yourself up about what you said or did.
Good.
That's another one. Also, constant worry about the future. Just an endless stream of what ifs. What if I fail? What if X happens? What if Y goes wrong?
That feels very familiar.
Very common. Another big one is starting and stopping. You plan, you research, maybe you even buy the gear or the supplies, but you never actually finish.
You get stuck in the prep phase.
Exactly. Your brain keeps searching for that perfect time to really dive in, which never comes. And finally, just feeling mental exhaustion, like you're totally drained from all the thinking, but you've got nothing concrete to show for it.
Right. Tired but achieved nothing.
Precisely. If these sound familiar, you're definitely not alone. It's super common. And it's not just tiring mentally. The sources mention something called decision fatigue. All that thinking actually uses up your willpower, leaving less energy for actually doing. But the good news is, once you start noticing it, catching yourself in the act,
Yeah.
that's when you can start changing the habit.
That decision fatigue concept really clicks. Explains why you just feel spent sometimes. Okay, to make this super clear, let's do a quick fun comparison. The overthinker versus the doer in action.
Great idea. Let's paint a picture. Scenario 1, starting that YouTube channel.
Okay.
The overthinker is thinking, right, camera, is my phone okay? Need better lighting. I'll cut my accent, people will hate it. Is the topic boring? Maybe I should wait. Yeah, next month. Definitely need a logo first, though.
Huh. Yep. Sounds about right. And the doer.
The doer. They just hit record and say something like, hey everyone, first video here. Totally not perfect, but I'm excited to share this idea. Let's jump in.
Wow, you can just feel the difference, can't you? That immediate shift.
Okay.
Imperfect action.
Totally. Or how about applying for a job?
Mm-hmm.
The overthinker. And I really qualified, they'll probably just reject me. My resume needs more work. Maybe I should do that online course first.
Yeah.
I'll apply later when I feel more ready.
Which is never.
Pretty much. Compare that to the doer. Okay, gonna apply today. Quick resume update, write the email, send. Done.
Yeah, the doer just gets the ball rolling, doesn't wait for everything to be perfectly aligned, knows they can figure stuff out as they go.
Exactly. One more quick one. Asking for help.
Ooh, that's a tough one for many.
It is. Overthinker. Are they too busy? They'll think I'm incompetent? Or lazy? What if they just say no? That would be awkward.
Oh, all that internal drama.
Right. The doer just reaches out. Hey, working on this thing. Could really use your brain on it for a sec. Got time for a quick chat this week? Simple. Direct. Moves on. The overthinker is still stuck in the what-if maze.
Okay. We see the problem, we see the contrast. So the million-dollar question for everyone listening, the real heart of this deep dive, what practical things can we actually do? What steps do our sources give to break the cycle and actually start doing?
Right. Let's get actionable. A huge strategy that kept coming up is start small. Like really small. Instead of seeing the whole mountain, just focus on one tiny pebble. Want to write a book? Don't think about 300 pages. Just commit. I will write one paragraph today. That's it.
Takes the pressure off immediately.
Totally. Another great one, set a time limit. Commit to working on the thing for just, say, 10 minutes or even 5. It lowers the barrier to entry so much. Just start. Often, once you're actually doing it, you find you keep going.
Yeah, I've used that one. It's amazing how it short-circuits the debate in your head. That tiny commitment can really build momentum.
It really can. Next, a really key mindset shift. Change what if to what now.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Instead of what if I fail or what if this goes wrong. Consciously pivot. Ask yourself, okay, what's one thing I can do right now to move this forward? It shifts your focus immediately from potential problems to immediate action.
Simple, but powerful.
hmm And if your thoughts are just racing, going a mile a minute, the sources strongly recommend write it down, journaling, even just a quick brain dump on a piece of paper. Get it out of your head.
Externalize the chaos.
Exactly. It clears the mental clutter, makes it easier to focus on what needs doing. It really does help you gain clarity.
Makes sense.
And then, of course, set a deadline, a real one, not some vague later. Make it clear, achievable. Publish the first blog post by Friday. Deadlines create that necessary urgency and accountability. Research backs this up strongly.
Keeps your feet to the fire a bit.
A little bit, yeah. And finally, find support. Don't underestimate this. Share your goal with someone, a friend, mentor, online group, someone who can check in, offer encouragement. That accountability can be a game changer when you feel like stalling.
So those are great first steps, but what about keeping it going? Our sources mention some specific tools or techniques too, right? To help embed this doing habit.
Absolutely. Think of these as little mental tricks or structures to interrupt that overthinking patterns that happens.
Yeah.
There's the 5-second rule, which got quite a bit of attention in our reading.
How does that work?
Simple. You feel yourself hesitating. Count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And you physically move, take the action. It bypasses the part of your brain that wants to talk you out of it.
Cuts off the hesitation at the knees.
Pretty much. Then there's the classic Pomodoro technique. Work focus for 25 minutes, then a mandatory 5-minute break. Great for staying on task without burning out.
Right. Keeps things manageable.
Yep. You can also use time blocking. Literally schedule blocks of time in your calendar for specific tasks, just like you'd schedule a meeting. Treat it as non-negotiable.
Makes it real.
It does. And like we touched on, brain dumping. Even just 5 minutes. Grab a pen, write down everything swirling in your head, worries, ideas, to-dos, random thoughts. Get it out. Clears the decks for focus.
These all sound super practical, things you can try like right now, but underneath the tools, there has to be a deeper shift, right? What about the mindset needed for really sustained execution?
Ah, yes. This is fundamental because the tools only work if the underlying beliefs support action. 3 key mindsets really stood out in the sources. First, embrace. Done is better than perfect.
That old chestnut, but it's true.
It's so true. Real progress, real learning comes from doing, from putting things out there imperfectly, not waiting forever for some mythical state of perfection. Second, adopt the view that failure is feedback.
Not the end of the world.
Exactly. Mistakes aren't signs you should quit. They're just data, information, learning opportunities to help you adjust your approach, pivot, get better. It reframes the whole experience.
Takes a sting out of it.
It really can. And maybe the most powerful one, internalize the idea that I don't need motivation, I need movement.
Say more about that.
Well, we often think we need to feel motivated before we can start something. This flips it. You don't wait for motivation. You just start. You take that first tiny action. And the very act of moving, of doing, that's what creates the motivation. Action generates motivation, not the other way around.
That changes everything. You just have to start moving.
You just have to start moving.
Wow. Okay, so we've really journeyed through the maze of overthinking today, haven't we? We looked at the roots, how it drains us, how it blocks us, how to spot it, and crucially, those practical steps and mindset shifts you can use to break free. It's definitely a common trap, but the good news is it is absolutely breakable. It takes awareness, those concrete strategies we talked about, and that fundamental shift in how you approach taking action. Just remember the power of that first tiny, imperfect step.
And maybe consider this as you go about your day. Every single time you choose to do something, even something small, instead of just thinking about it, that's not just ticking off a task. It's like a quiet little revolution happening in your own mind.
Yeah.
You're actually redefining what you believe you're capable of. That small action doesn't just inch you towards a goal. It actively starts to rewire your relationship with fear and possibility. So maybe, right now, think of one area, just one, where overthinking has you stuck. And pick one technique we talked about, maybe the 5-second rule, setting a 10-minute timer, just writing down the fonts and just try it. Right after this, see what happens. You might be surprised by the momentum it creates.